Hello, my internet fans. We're here again with another episode of my show, The Stat Boy Rants. That's me. This is number 52. We're getting up there. Lots to talk about, lots to do, apparently. Something special at the end. Now, let's get the usual stuff, which is the Raw report. And the build-up to Raw's 1000th show is getting better and better. I did not talk about Vader, who came back 2 weeks ago, because, it just didn't really matter to me until I kind of heard on the boards and in the comments, why didn't you talk about Vader? For those of you youngins who don't know who Big Van Vader is, you have to go back to WCW from yes?
Is he in relation to Darth Vader?
No.
But we're supposed to be quiet on set, right?
Yeah, it's my hand.
Dork.
Vader, basically, his career started in Japan. And in fact, that's where good old Mick lost part of his ear, if not all of his ear. In fact, he should get that thing fixed somehow. There's technologies that can make it hear. He can still hear out of it, I think, but he needs to get that fixed. But the majority of Vader's career, minus the Japan stuff, was in WCW. And of course, he had epic battles with Sting over the WCW Championship, which he won 3 times. He continued his feud with Cactus Jack in WCW. He was just a big monster, He was Harley Race was his manager. At one point, he even came out with this big old mastodon mammoth type headgear. It kind of looked like it went from the top of his head to the middle of his chest, like the bust of a mammoth head, or mammoth mastodon, same thing almost. And it's like he would come out and take that off, and of course he had the usual red mask that he would wear, and he also teamed up with Sid. They were the masters of the power bomb. And of course, if you were watching Are You Serious a couple weeks ago, they actually showed a clip of him and Sid and Colonel Parker on the beach with Sting and Bulldog and the kids. It's like they were ruining the beach party and all that. Vader did, of course, come into WWE around the time of the '96 Rumble. He had a mini feud with Shawn Michaels. He had a mini feud with The Undertaker. And that was pretty much it. He teamed up with Sid again, but like his WWE career really didn't go anywhere. He didn't really hold it. He didn't hold any titles. The man they call Vader. That's all he was. He'd come to the ring. That the red and black lights would flicker on him, and that was pretty much it. He had a great spot on Boy Meets World. He played the father to one of Ben Savage's classmates in, I think it was either 1 or 2 episodes, but it was still funny. And he ended his WWE career on a bad note. In fact, I think it was one of the very few instances where he swore on live television. And then after that, he was pretty much done. And then he just comes back for a match against Heath Slater. Welcome back, Vader. One night only, though, unfortunately. So. Then the week after that, Cyndi Lauper and Wendi Richter come back. And Wendi Richter was in WWE, WWF, 1983 to 1985. She was the one that unseated Fabulous Moolah as the champion, as women's champion. 1984, started the whole rock and wrestling connection. She was even featured in the god-awful Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon show, which didn't even have Hulk Hogan as his own character's voice. That went to Brad Garrett. Brad Garrett was Hulk Hogan's character voice. It was a good little cartoon, but not really going anywhere. And sadly, her WWE career ended with the original screw job. The story behind that was Wendi was champion. It was about 1984, 1985, and she was having contract issues with Vince McMahon. Can't confirm if it's junior or senior. My guess is it's senior. Not totally certain. Don't quote me on that, but one of the McMahons. We'll leave it at that. And so she's in Madison Square Garden up against an unknown called the Spider Lady. And thanks to a fast count and even a kick out, the Spider Lady beats Wendi Richter, and she takes off the mask. Lo and behold, there's Fabulous Moolah under the mask. Well, Moolah's got the belt. Wendi gets pissed off. Starts to attack Moolah. Backstage, Richter is severely pissed off. She packs her bags, gets the next flight out of New York, and she's done. She wants nothing more to do with WWE. She did have an indie career, mostly Jersey, independent stuff, Puerto Rico, stuff down there. There was even reports that she was very disappointed with the way the divas were being treated and portrayed. But bygones be bygones, she's in the Hall of Fame, and she decided to come back last week with Roddy Piper in the ring. And if you guys don't know the history on Piper, then do your homework on that one. I've said before that Piper is kind of like my inspiration, because he says stuff that, you know, when you think you have all the answers, he goes and changes the questions. That's what Piper did, man. Piper was the original pipe bomb. How about that? Let's go back there. I mean, he did things that people wouldn't even dream of. Look at Ric Flair's induction speech of Piper. He goes, you know, one day I'm down in Puerto Rico, and lo and behold, somebody brings a knife to the ring, and they start going after Roddy, and guess what happened? Roddy got stabbed. They go, Roddy, what the hell are you doing? Oh, he'll draw money. He'll be back next week. I mean, come on. You know? Piper was the original Punk and the original Stone Cold. Let's not forget about him, because he would give Vince a big old fuck you. And Vince would like it. And he's been married for over 22 years. Piper was one of the people that didn't really need a title. Yeah, he got the belt at WrestleMania 8. Did he really need it? No. But, well, he defended it at WrestleMania 8. He won it prior to that. But, you know, his mic skills outweighed the title. His mic skills beat Hogan any chance he got. Hogan was so thrown into everybody on t-shirts and lunchboxes and cartoon shows and wrestling matches. That gave Piper legitimate beef. I mean, yeah, okay, when he came back in the late 2000s or whatever, yeah, he got a tag title with Ric Flair, but did he really need it? No. You see? Piper is Stat Boy approved, without a doubt. And I gotta thank Piper, because if it wasn't for Piper, I wouldn't be on this channel right now, because you don't know what I'm gonna do, you don't know what I'm gonna say, you know. The week after that, a WWE superstar who hasn't made an appearance in 15 years came back But out comes Heath Slater again. I mean, what is this? Feed Slater to the legends? Is that how you're going to make your career? Really? And of course, out comes Psycho Sid. Or you can call him Sid, or you can call him Sid Vicious, or if you really want to go back, you call him Sid Justice. That's how he made his debut in WWE. He did start his career in WCW for 2 years, 1989 and 1991. He was the special guest referee at SummerSlam, which was the handicap match, the 2-on-3 match. And he got to do the pose down with Hogan, which I think that's every Hogan fan, you know, who wouldn't want to be in the ring in that era? I mean, not now. I don't know if there are fans now. If there are, you know, if you want to get in the ring and do the pose down with Hulk Hogan, go for it. But it's like, that's how he got it in the business. He got started. And then everything started to go bad, meaning he started to turn heel a year later. The 92 Rumble. Technically, he was one of the last two people. It was down between him and Flair. Because Sid had already eliminated Savage. If you remember the 92 Rumble. Flair and Hogan were going at it. Sid comes up and takes out Hogan. Now, instead of worrying about Flair and going after the title, Hogan starts, "You can't do that to me, I'm Hulk Hogan." Hogan grabs Sid. Flair comes by with the assist and gets the belt. Then we have a press conference as to who is going after the title. Who's going to challenge Flair at WrestleMania for the belt? And this was Jack Tunney in the middle. You've got Hogan, Undertaker, Piper, Savage, and Sid. All of them had legitimate beef as to who should be the champion. Sid being the most outspoken one, when Jack Tunney says that the person who will be getting the title shot, Sid stands up from his chair and Hulk Hogan gets announced. And Sid starts to go psycho. He gets angry. But in his matches, he starts powerbombing the ham and eggers, as Bobby Heenan would call them, left and right, injuring them, putting them on stretchers, and just when you think he was done, he would do it again. So, instead of Hogan getting the title shot at WrestleMania 8, of course it went to Savage. Hogan ended up fighting Sid at WrestleMania. And then after that, Sid left. Reason being, he failed the drug test back in 1992. He was allowed to go on tour. There was a European tour after WrestleMania, and then he was gone. He did go back to WCW for a bit, but thanks to a backstage scissor incident with Arn Anderson in 1995, or 1994, 1993, somewhere in there, he was gone again. It was 1993. I jumped ahead of myself. He comes back in 1995 to WWE. He's teamed up with Shawn Michaels. And we get the whole WrestleMania 11 match with Diesel. And, you know, Shawn gets to turn face because Sid powerbombs Shawn. That starts a feud with Diesel. Who has the better powerbomb, Diesel or Sid? And I would have gone with Sid because he was a little more muscular. He could put you through the mat. He also joins the $1 Million Corporation, but doesn't go anywhere until 1996 when he goes for the title, which he wins the title. But unfortunately, he loses the title to Taker at WrestleMania 13. After that, he's gone again. The title did go back and forth between Shawn and Sid, Survivor Series, Rumble, San Antonio, all that. He did get it back in the four-way match in 96, 97, when Brett got screwed out of a one-day title run, which never should have happened. And then he lost it at WrestleMania. I got my... Boy, I'm just going all over the place. And of course, after losing the belt to Taker, he leaves again. Goes back to WCW. And then sadly, January 14th, 2001, snaps his leg in half. Has a 13-inch rod put in his leg. Made a few indie appearances. Comes back to promote Raw 1000. And I kind of looked at him, it's like, okay, yeah, he's older. He's still got a little bit of muscle left. But it just wasn't this... I made the comment that he didn't look well. I was surprised that he actually is wrestling with a huge old rod in his leg. And you know, who's coming back next? You never know who they're going to dust off. Or who would you like to see come back? You know? Put some comments in there. Who do you guys want to see? Raw has three or four shows left. Who do you guys want to see come back? We know Taker's probably going to make an appearance, but let's face it, the Taker is nowhere near done. You can't have... I want to see JR come back. Now, as far as the show itself, the funny part of the show was John Cena's Star Wars promo, to where John Cena broke kayfabe a little bit when he did his impression of Yoda saying, no chance in hell you have. He just started busted out laughing. Fired you are, and all that. That was one of the... I don't know if that whole thing was scripted or off the top of his head or he planned it or whatever. But see, that's the Cena I like. I like the funny Cena that makes us all laugh. And of course, the big announcement temporarily got distracted by Chris Jericho, who had come back from his European tour. Why didn't he do a tour in the US? I don't know. And now, for Money in the Bank, 4 men only. Yeah. When we heard that at Casa D18, we're like, Money in the Bank is to be for the lower class superstars to make a push for themselves. Your Dolphs, your Zacks, your Codys. Big name people like Cena and Show, if they can do something new with the ladder, go ahead and do it. But it will greatly cheapen Money in the Bank, I think, if John Cena wins it. I would rather see John Cena go for the title on his own than have to use a contract loophole to get the belt back. That's my thought on that. The Divas Battle Royal with AJ winning was a bit of a surprise. I would have liked to have seen Layla win. I don't know if it was maybe a last minute call or not. But and Vicky surprised us all. Now Vicky Guerrero has a bikini body. We've seen it before. She's talked about it. So, you know, why are you wearing one pieces, Vicky? Come on. If you want to play up the cougar part, then go 2-piece. We've also found out that AJ is going to be the special guest referee at Money in the Bank in a match, in the title match actually, with Punk and Daniel Bryan. Now, look for her to take some kind of ref bump, and she's not gonna. I mean, no, this is kind of dumb. She's probably gonna just let them battle each other, and she's not. I don't know how she can be a referee, honestly. She should just be staying to the crazy gimmick and stuff. Brodus Clay got knocked out, but let's face it, we're all waiting on that one because it's like he's working the knee injury thing. So if he absolutely needs to go get it fixed, then this is his out. You know, he's been doing okay. He finally lost, which was not a bit of a surprise because he was basically squashing everybody. There was no real challenge until Big Show came along. So you just put two people up, put two big guys against each other, and the bigger man literally won that. So, Money in the Bank is coming up in about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. Our prediction show is going to be coming up. We'll watch for that. And as far as the wrestling part, we're done. Now, okay, one more wrestling thing I get to do before I continue on. I am going to choose the next book for the Book of the Month Club. I am honored and privileged to do this. The next book that Casa D18 and the fans of this will be Eddie's book. Eddie Guerrero's book. All right. There it is. There's the proof right there. Eddie's book. Okay? There you go. Eddie's book. Very good. See? Okay. I did not look in the pot there at all. Now, the other topic I want to talk about is sports related, and that would be the instant replays, more in baseball. One, there isn't one. Basically, a game happened earlier this week with the Yankees and the Indians. The batter from Cleveland, Mr. Jack Hannanen, hits a ball in left field, and the outfielder Dwayne Wise goes to catch it, and he ends up flipping over in the stands, and the ball hits the glove and trickles out and down the front row. The umpire calls him out. There are two fans right at the edge of the row. One gentleman's in a red shirt, one gentleman's in a striped shirt. The gentleman in the red shirt bends over and picks up the ball. The cameras catch this, but the umpires and two police officers that are in the stadium are more focused on the player bringing him back out of the stands. And Dwayne Wise then puts his hand in the glove and he starts trotting back on the field. And the out is out. He's out. But the commentators and the camera show otherwise. So the batter eventually goes up to the umpire, and he had seen a replay. But because there's no official replay rule, it can't be overturned. It's like whatever the umpire says goes. The umpire's ruling stands no matter what. And he gets thrown out of the game. He didn't even swear at the umpire. He was just, that was a wrong call. You made a mistake, whatever. Eventually, the umpire admits his mistake. Now, here's my thing. And the Yankees end up winning the game, by the way, too. So it won't really matter if the call was reversed, because it would have been a foul ball and he would have gotten another shot and possibly won the game. We don't know. But here's the thing. In football, of course, a coach can challenge a play. The referee goes over to his little stand and whatever. In hockey, and let me turn to you on this one, Jess, since you know more about hockey than I do.
Mm.
How often do calls get reviewed on instant replay?
Only goals.
Only goals.
Only goals.
No hits, no checks, nothing.
Nope.
Okay, that's an issue there.
The call is made on the ice. The penalty is assessed. If it's a misconduct, so be it. Whatever, so be it. Then, either after or during, they go to Toronto to assess how dirty or clean whatever the hit was, and then fines, suspensions, etc. are laid down after that. But at the moment of impact, it's either a 2, a 5, a 10, a game, etc. And then later on, they go back and go, okay, how big of a dick was this guy actually being? To see if they lay down more than one suspension, you get a suspension longer than just the game misconduct, or fines, or whatever.
And then goals are
every goal is reviewed in Toronto. Every single goal, whether it's a question or not. They don't actually sit there and take the time to review it, but if there is a question later on, Toronto will call and be like, it wasn't a goal, take that one back.
Hey there, I just learned something about that.
And if I'm wrong, tell me on there on YouTube. I'm sure y'all love doing that.
I think you're right. That sounded pretty intelligent that the fans will figure that one out.
Yeah.
In basketball, I don't think there's... The replays in basketball are more like for show. It's like, oh, that was great, let's see that again. Oh, they don't really check to see if the player's foot is on the line or if he's out of bounds or whatnot. You don't really get too many bad calls in basketball. And of course now in baseball, it's like if a ball is on the line, you can see the chalk mark. If a ball is catched and dropped, you check the replay. There has to be distinct proof that a play is called correctly. That way you don't have a giant backlash from fans. You don't have players complaining and getting fined for showing their opinions. And you just got to get it right. Now, of course, in football, if the coach makes the challenge and the challenge ends up against them, they end up losing a timeout or whatever. What can be done about baseball if the call doesn't go their way? Do they lose? Did they get do they lose an extra out or something? Or it's like instead of 3 outs now you have 2, or you give up a run or something? I mean, what can you do to a coach if they're wasting time? Because baseball is a slow game, especially if you're sitting in the sun for 3 hours, which is how I got my arms burned. Let me get some comments on this. I mean, what should baseball do with their replays? Should they have it? Should they, because you can't go back in time and give the win to the team. You can't do that. So let me know what you think about that one. All right? So this has been a long episode, so I think we should just cut it after that. And guess what? Jay didn't sneeze. Woohoo! Yay! Jay didn't sneeze. Keep those comments coming. Follow me on Twitter at LBStatKid1977. I got a couple stories to tell about that, but I can always say that for later. Send those comments to the YouTube page or the Statboy Rants page on Facebook. I'm over 100 likes finally. It took me a long time to do that. For now, good night. See you next week. Statboy out.